Okay, thank you. Hello, welcome to the special meeting of the Oak Grove Community Council for January 30th, 2023. We called a special meeting so that we could make the announcements for the nominees for the board elections next month that we have in place right now. And so I just wanted to apologize for the inconvenience of needing to schedule a special meeting. We kind of had I kind of had my wires crossed at the last meeting, and we should have announced it at the meeting last week. But I just made that mistake, and we wanted to make sure that we called a special meeting so that we could do this in January ahead of the elections, the board elections next month on February 22nd. So with that, we will do introductions so that we can capture everybody's attendance. And then we will get right into our meeting program. So first off, I am Joseph Edge. I am the chair, and I live in the River Forest neighborhood. Valerie, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Valerie Chapman, and I'm the vice chair, and I live on Evergreen Street, about a block up from the trolley trail.
Thank you. And I will just ask that after everybody introduces themselves, please mute your microphone until you have the floor, or unless you have the floor. Jane, could you introduce yourself next, please?
Jane Civiletti, treasurer, and I live on Fair Oaks Avenue.
Thank you. Rich, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, Rich Nippon, and I live on McCartney Lane, which is 3 blocks due south of the Fred Meyers Oak Grove.
Thank you. And Mark, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mark, and I live on Concord. Excuse me, I live on, where do I live? Oh gosh. Riesling Road, which is off of Concord Road, south of McLaughlin.
Awesome, thanks, Mark. So for now, for the rest of the attendees, I'll go through and I'll read your name as I see it in Zoom. And please say your first and last name and the name of the street that you live on, and then mute your microphone when you're done. Sue Conahan?
Sue Conahan, Parkview Circle and River Road.
Thank you. Thelma Hagen Miller?
Thelma Hagen Miller, the corner of Southview and Westview, just south of Concord.
Thank you. Vanderbilt?
I live on Neff Road, almost next to Stringfield Park.
Awesome, thanks, Baldwin. Wayne Potter?
I live on River Ridge Drive, which is just off of River Road at Willamette View.
Thank you. Good to have you here. Eleanor Hunter?
Eleanor Hunter, Laurie Avenue, just south of Oak Grove Boulevard.
Thank you. Alina Kazarov?
Hi there, Alina Kazarov. I live on Oatfield Court and Oatfield Road.
Thank you. Gwen?
I'm Gwen. I live on Evergreen at 25th Street.
Thank you. Linda Seals?
I live on Woodland Way, just south of Oak Grove Boulevard.
Thank you. And I think that is everybody who's here right now. If you have not been called on, please chat Jane and let her know. And we will make sure that we get your attendance captured for tonight. So with that, we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to hand it off to Eleanor Hunter, who is our nominating committee chairperson for this year, and she will make the announcements for the nominees for the election next month. Eleanor?
Great. Hello, good evening, everyone. Yes, we have a slate of candidates, and according to our bylaws, it is required to announce that slate of candidates in January before the February election. So the slate of candidates for the next 2 years, right? It's 2 years. So they happen in odd years as elections. So the slate of candidates for this coming 2-year term will be chair will be Valerie Chapman. Vice chair will be Mark Elliott. Secretary will be Rich Nippon. Treasurer will be our faithful Jane Civiletti. And Joseph will be a member at large. And we have some other ideas for members at large, but there are 2 open slots for members at large. And again, on the evening of the election, which as usual is the 4th Wednesday of the month, it'll be February 22nd. And we always accept nominations from the floor on election night. And so we hope to have some additional people who will serve as members at large for the next 2 years. So does anybody have any questions about the election procedure or timing or anything like that? As we did last time, we'll be doing the ballots will be held via chat, and we'll be able to manage that. As per usual, we announce this and do the election at the beginning of the meeting, and then we tally the votes and we present the results of the election by the end of the meeting, again on Wednesday, February 22nd. So we'll just be following through in the ways that we've done it in the past.
Can you tell us how the votes will be submitted and tallied?
Yes, via the chat, as I said, it'll be via the chat. And we'll have it probably sent to me. I think you can only send it to one person. You can do it either to everybody or to one person, right?
Right.
I think that's how the chat works. So then that would be anonymous or private chats to me saying if you accept the slate of candidates or if you have any other changes or questions to it. So I think that's how we've done it in the past, where it's seen as a slate. So.
Right, we use the Zoom chat feature to make sure that everybody who's attending the Zoom meeting is able to, submit a written vote.
Right. Now, and everybody who's a voting member, don't do that. Whoever is a voting member is able to we would have the list of the voting members and take care of that. That would be great. Yeah. So, sorry.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Eleanor. So with that, I'd like to give our nominees the opportunity to just say something kind of off the cuff, just about what they'd like to do in their new roles over the next couple of years. So I'll just open it up, and whoever would like to go first, please feel free to unmute your microphone and jump in. Or I may call on you.
I'll go first. I'm okay with that.
Thanks, Valerie.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to just start by saying, we've been through a really unusual time period in our lives, all of us, and worldwide as we went through the pandemic. And so we've had a lot of obstacles towards building community and keeping things going. So I just want to say that I really appreciate the leadership that Joseph Edge has provided in the last few years, because it has been a really hard time. And so all of that organization and keeping us going has been really important. So what I'd like to be able to do is to build on that, but also to help us, hoping that sometime within the next year or two, we'll be opening up even more, so that there is a way to continue to build community. My own background is in community organizing, so I am grateful that Joseph, who is staying on the board, is willing to continue to do land use, because he's excellent at that. And my interest lies more in trying to get more of our community involved and figuring out how we can get representation in a wider part of our Oak Grove community, how we can begin to build alliances with the other organizations that are already part of Oak Grove, how we can have a stronger connection to the business community so that we can move forward. We're a very unusual CPO. If we look at Clackamas County, our CPO is very urban, we're dense, and yet we're not a city. So when Rich Nippon, who has been very faithful about going to the CPO summit, meets with the other CPOs, it's really clear that we're different. So we need to kind of strengthen what we have and figure out how to increase, I guess I would say, our clout, I will say that, in the county as an organization. So that would be my hope, and to get a lot more people involved in committee work and doing things to strengthen Oak Grove. So Thanks.
Thank you, Valerie. Who would like to go next?
I'm unmuted, Joseph, so.
Oh, thank you.
Suppose I will just chime in to say I have been doing the position of treasurer for the last 4 years after our long-term Shonda Wild, and I would not mind if someone else wanted to step up and get themselves nominated, but barring that, I will continue. And I hope in the next 2 years, at least, we can find some way to possibly meet in person, which was a better way for us to elicit some funds from our membership, and also to figure out how we can make it possible for people to donate online or through the On Point Community Credit Union more easily. So far, it hasn't been a very fluid process. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Rich?
I'll go next. Rich Nippon, and I have agreed to accept the position of secretary. I have been doing the email blasts that go out and taking care of trying to keep the website up to date. And I will try to keep my minutes to a minimum. My goals for the Oak Grove Community Council are to along with what Valerie said, create more of a community council than just a CPO. My goal is to create a lot of back and forth communication between the government, the board of community, the committeemen, and the residents, a two-way communication street. I am a member of the CCI, which is a citizens involvement group that's supposed to be advising the BCC. And we do seem to be making some headway on that. The other thing that is important to me is that someday we are going to meet in person, and hopefully it'll involve food. So that's my goals for the future for the next 2 years.
Awesome. Thanks, Rich. Mark, did you want to say anything? I know I didn't really warn you ahead of time, but.
Oh, no, I knew about it. Yes, that's okay. Well, I wanted to just echo what Valerie and Rich and Jane had to say about the leadership. Joseph, you and Valerie, how a fantastic job you guys have done in the 2.5 years that I've been involved with this during, a very difficult time. We've all learned how to communicate through Zoom. So I'm just really amazed to see what happens when we do both, when we're in person and by Zoom, it'll be really interesting to see. The other thing I really am amazed with is we have a very faithful group of people who attend our meetings on a regular basis, anywhere between 20 to 40 people, depending on the controversies that we're going to talk about. And I really appreciate that we have some very faithful people who come to these meetings on a regular basis and also give money towards the things that we care about. So you have to let me for just a second. I wanted to let you know I've lived here since 2017, moved here from Portland, and I started with my work in the county when I saw on Nextdoor that county had a class that people could take to learn more about the county government. So I took that class, learned about a few things, and decided to sign up for a advisory committee. That was the Parks Advisory Committee for the county. Then heard about this school in Concord was going to have a new library and they needed people to come and work on that. So then I got involved in that. And so from there, it just kind of grew and more I've gotten a little bit more involved in other things in the community, including the council here, as well as the Trolley Trail Fest, and now on the Milwaukee Center Board. So I just kind of put my finger in a whole lot of little pies around here. And I really think the reason I have been enjoying this so much since I retired is that my great interest is really community building, as many of us have said here. And any chance that we have to build communities through getting together or seeing each other, meeting our county officials and other people that are really movers and shakers in the county, I think is always a great thing. And I love being with Thelma all the time because she's been around here forever, and I call her an influencer. And in so many ways, and I appreciate that she's always here as well. So thanks, Thelma. So a couple things that I'm hoping to see happen in addition to continuing that community building is that as a community council, we have a little bit more of a voice to the county government, and that we are hearing from the people in our community about the issues that are important to them, the things that they have issues with, and then we're able to carry those to the county with more of a stronger voice, because we are a council that are somewhat representing the thoughts and desires and aspirations of the people that are in this community. I'd love to see that the community council have its presence known more in ways that we can work on that, so more people know about us and they'll actually engage in this. Because Joseph and Valerie, you guys have had such fantastic people here to speak. And when I tell people about it, they're like, wow, I wish I knew about that. What's going to happen? I'm like, well, then just chime in. Why don't you join once in a while? And you'll see some really great people that have that are here in our community who are engaged in doing things. You really learn a lot that you don't read about in the paper or somewhere else. I guess that's really about it. I think I put down a whole long list of things, but that's it. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, thank you all for for just sharing your thoughts and comments about how we want the next couple of years to go. Just really briefly, I am stepping down as chair because I think it's healthy for organizations like this to have turnover in the officer positions. And this is the conclusion of my second term. So I've been doing this for 4 years, which did start in person and then transition to, in Zoom. And so yeah, I think it's just healthy. It's a good time. It's a good amount of time for one person to be at the running an organization, and I think it's healthy for someone else to take the reins and put their imprint on it. And I will be here to continue to support the board, support the new the officers in their new positions, and look forward to chairing LUART and really putting my focus back on the land use application review team and the presentations and reports that we produce. When I was doing that before I was chair, I had a lot more bandwidth to focus on those and contribute in that area, and I look forward to doing that again. So and then in terms of that, I think that we can there's been some interest expressed in helping our neighboring CPOs who don't really have an active presence. I think that we can really look at how we do that with respect to the land use applications and everything, and really help contribute our expertise to those neighboring to the members of those neighboring CPOs who don't have a CPO they can rely on. We can kind of help be that resource, I think, and I look forward to having a little bit more time to contribute in that space. So thank you all. And I'll just say, is there any other questions? Any questions from the floor or any other comments from the board?
I just want to make sure that everyone understands that at the February 22nd meeting, this will happen again for the larger crowd that we expect at the regular monthly meetings, in terms of having each nominee be able to speak about what they want to do, so that everyone gets a chance to have a sense of who it is they're voting for and what they're doing. Although most of the board members at this point are familiar faces, but again, this is a special meeting, and we'll have that again along with the other nominees from the floor on Wednesday, February 22nd as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Eleanor. I really appreciate the work that you've put into this, and the amount of effort I know that you've been putting in to, recruit, new members to help fill the vacant spots that we have not announced yet. And, hopefully we will have nominees for those positions come February 22nd. So,
yep.
so thanks again. I really appreciate it, Eleanor, and all of your contributions. Going back to before my time on the community council, I just want to thank you for everything.
Thanks.
Are there any? I'll give everyone the chance. Are there any announcements from the floor? We usually do that before the end of every meeting, so just give everyone anybody a chance to say anything.
Just again, huge congratulations for the whole community and huge thanks to Anita and others for all the work that they did helping to get that 5-0 vote for the library funding. I know a lot of people put a lot of energy into that and we'll all benefit for generations to come. So just, we got to celebrate the wins. Got to celebrate the wins.
Thanks, Eleanor. Anybody else? Okay, well, our schedule review is as it was last Wednesday. We have an upcoming board meeting on February 6th, and that will be the last meeting of this board in their current positions. And then on February 22nd, we'll have the regular meeting with the election. And following that, on March 6th, will be the first board meeting with the new board. And then we'll see everybody back here, for a regular meeting on March 22nd as well. So that's our show for tonight. We're ending pretty early, but that's all we had to cover. So I really appreciate everyone being here, and we will get this meeting posted up to our YouTube channel for anybody that wasn't able to attend or catch us in time. And we'll see everybody on February 22nd for the election. Oh, and I can announce for February 22nd who our presenter will be. It will be, I'm sorry, it was Jason Varga with Clackamas County, and he'll be presenting about the library plans. We had originally planned for that to come in May, but we were able to get that moved up, and we'll be having Jason here to present on the library plans on February 22nd.
No, that's terrific, Joseph. Great. Yeah.
So that's it. Valerie, you may stop recording.
Okay. Good
We'll
night.
see you all next month.